How's it going, folks? Robbie, welcome back to the channel, back on Horizon 6 as per normal at the Little Sonny track circuit. I got no idea how to pronounce it. One day I'll learn, but today's not that day. So we've got the C63 AMG, the black series you see on screen. Stock standard, only driven it about 5 minutes, hooting around, then I teleported here. So the idea of this, we're going to turn it into like a little Purist build. Not a full-on racing build to the top of a class, just going to add a few little bits and pieces. This is what I do with pretty much every car I drive. I take it for a drive around the track and then make some changes to it to make it a little bit better. And then later on, maybe do another build where we go full out to the top of a class. But for now, I just want to improve it, add a few parts, tinker with the tune a little bit, and just make it a little bit more fun to drive, while also trying to keep... This isn't designed to be a full-on grip build, so we'll work it out as we go. So let's do a couple little laps around this little track. Good thing everyone's ghosted. We can just pull out without looking. Already, these cars we all know, they're rather powerful. They're basically muscle cars made in Germany. They're absolutely ridiculous, bonkers cars. Now, the ones I've seen for years have always got the big body kits in the wing. I'm assuming in-game we can still put that on. I love that rumbling sound of that Mercedes engine. The back end just naturally wants to... They're just so ridiculous, but they're so much fun. Hopefully this isn't too loud in the ears because it does make quite a bit of noise. It got some decent acceleration. And one thing we're going to do is take out a little bit of weight. Now, like I said before, this is more of a Purist build. We're not going full-on rivals hunting, top of the class. We're just going to add a few parts, change up the tires a little bit, make them a little bit wider, anti-roll bars, change the gearbox around so we can adjust that, get a little bit more acceleration, and just have the car overall handle through the corners just a little bit better than it does already, and try and tame that back end just a little bit. I don't mind the car sliding around a little bit. It is quite fun, but I want to try and find a good mix of have a bit of grip so you can do some hot lapping, while also, if you really want to, you can still get the back end out and do a bit of side-by-side drifting through the corners, which this track is really good at. So yeah, already we're going to take out a bit of weight. The back end, obviously, the adjustments to the diff and the anti-roll bars, we should be able to get that under control fairly easy, even with a dumbass like me building the car. Obviously, this couple of laps now is just to get an idea what it's like to drive. They're absolutely ridiculous, these cars. I've always enjoyed driving these over many, many games, especially on the Forza Horizon series and Motorsport back when it was good. But yeah, they do need a little bit of work to be a little bit better than what they are out of the box. So 54 flat, we can get that a lot quicker around here, but we're not trying to set hot laps right now. So let's head on back to the garage and start adjusting the tune a little bit. Put on a couple of parts. It's not going to be a massive build. It's not going to cost a lot, probably under like 30 grand. This is more to make the car like a little thing you take. Oh, is there? Oh, there's a... I just noticed there's a wide body kit option for this on this game. Is there? There is. Oh. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit old-fashioned. I'm not into wide body kits, but hey, at least there's a body kit option for the car. I don't like it. I like the exhaust change, though. I wish we could just change the bumper. I just don't like those massive arches. But hey, if you're making you want to make like a DDM race car, you could probably make it look that way. So standard engine, no wackiness. This will just have the little... That is what's usually on the car, so we're going to chuck it on. Oh, that's the... Oh, there we go. Oh, there's no actual Forza wing. But anyway, we've got the standard Mercedes wing. That's the one I'm going to put on because this is the look of this car that I'm used to, so it's going on. So they do have the ability to make and design different sort of wings on the back, yet their Forza Aero looks exactly the same. Just pure laziness. All right, so what tyres we have standard? They're sports. Okay. I don't really want to go into the semi-slicks right now because I don't want it too grippy. How wide are the rears? 25. Let's chuck on the fattest ones. That'll do. Front end is 255s. In this game so far, building cars, just mucking around, I'm finding the widest tires in the front. Typically, so far, for some unknown reason, I'm finding it grips better. So we're going to put on the wider ones. I'm going to leave the stock tires and the wheels. They look pretty good. I'll just widen the track a little bit. Just add a little bit of assistance going through the corners, a little bit more grip. I'm going to go the 8-speed because it keeps you in the... I finally learnt that it keeps you higher up in the rev gauge, so you're constantly in the power band a lot better. And we're throwing the race diff. Now for weight, how much, before I do anything else, how much does this car weigh? 1,700 kilos, so it's not exceedingly heavy, but we don't want to take it all the way out. It's not a full-on race build. Let's just go sport. 160 kgs is a decent amount of weight. I'm not going to put it on roll bars or anything like that. Chassis stiffness, so anti-roll bars we'll be putting on. Race springs, yep, because I want to adjust that. Anti-roll bars, yes. Chassis stuff, no. Helps if you say the right word. It does improve your cornering and makes the car a little bit more structurally stable, but it adds a little bit of weight, and I don't really want this to be a full-on track racing car, so let's just put a little bit of power in. God, those exhausts are a bit bland. Wish we could just change the tips on the exhaust. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? Very distinctive sound this engine makes, doesn't it? Well, most AMG engines as well. Alright, so let's get up to around the 550 mark. We don't want I don't want a shitload of power in there. Just that'll do. Just under the top of A class. That is good to go. Alright, I'm going to quickly just throw in like a bass tune just to see what it's like, because at the moment it's probably going to be a bit slidey. So let's head on over to the track and see if it makes a difference. Alright, we are back on the track. We've got a Subaru next to us. We're going to see if we've made the car any better. Just going to do a little base lap at the start. Not going full on, just going to cruise around, and hopefully this car turns in pretty good. The back end's going to slide out no matter what. It's rear-wheel drive. It's basically a muscle car. It's got a little bit more punch now. I've shrunk the gear ratios down quite a bit. The anti-roll bar, suspension, all been softened up just a little bit. And I'll show you roughly what I've done later on. So let's give it a bit of a boot. We've got a supercar of some sort next to us. Is that an NSX? It is. I've got to remember it's got 8 gears. I'm so used to driving cars with my 6-speed gearbox, but this game, like I said before, I found that using the 8, you get a little bit better lap times. What the hell was that little bug next to the front car? I'm actually keeping up with a supercar, which is quite... What is that? All right, Playground Games, I think we just found a new glitch. I don't know what the hell this thing morphing out the side there. The car is driven by some sort of alien. God, this car makes a hell of a noise in my headphones. So far, I mean, I'm not going full tilt so far, but it's not that bad. A little bit of understeer there on this fasting corner there, but fasting. We can, my brain sometimes, we can improve that a little bit. I mean, it's got fairly good straight line speed, but we're not going anywhere near 8th gear. So on this track, we could probably shrink the gear ratios down a bit, might coax out a little bit more acceleration, but obviously if we go anywhere else, we're going to have to increase the final drive. Now, I don't know how good the driver ahead of me is, but the fact that I'm keeping up with a car that probably shouldn't be able to is not a bad thing. Obviously, it's got a little bit more acceleration. I've adjusted the brakes a little bit, so they are leaning towards the front a little bit more. Pressure's up to about 110 just to see what it's like. But obviously, everyone has different driving taste and style, so that kind of usually suits my braking pressure is usually 105 to 110, depending on the car. Yeah, we could definitely lower the gear ratios down a little bit. That is exactly the same time as I did last time, and that's very, very hard to do. I can't do that a third time in a row. All right, let's... So far, I'm enjoying the way it's driving as we take 3/10 off that part there, which is good. Running a little bit wide there. There's no way I'm keeping up with that thing. I've got one in my garage. I don't think I've ever driven it. I just find those really high-powered time attack cars just incredibly boring to drive. Just far too much grip. So yeah, the idea basically of these Purist builds that I'm doing is that, yeah, it's not to set world record lap times. It's just to improve the car slightly. It's what I do with every car I drive. Just slight adjustments, just customize it to my own liking. Just improve on it just enough where it's a bit more stable and more fun to drive. But it's still got a bit of playfulness to it where you can feel the back end slipping out a little bit. Just enough to keep on your toes, because once you tune up all these cars to have them 100% max grip, everything starts to feel the same and it gets a little bit boring. I like my cars to have a little bit of life to them. Just to remind you not to be an idiot if you're going the corners too hard. Alright, well, it should quite easily get past the Lancer, assuming it's stock standard. Probably could get it to turn in a little bit. On the exit, you got to be a little bit gentle with the throttle. I'm a little bit on the aggressive side of my driving. We're definitely getting the Lancer in the straight line. This thing's got 550 horsepower. I mean, it's still a big car, so the brakes do a fairly good job. What are we up to? If we can get it well into the 49s, I'd be quite happy. We're still shaving off bits of time here and there. Obviously, I haven't done the perfect lap. That braking line was a little bit out. No idea that was. All right, let's see if we can bring this in. We've got a checkpoint just around the corner. A bit of a sloppy exit. Lost a bit of time there. And in reds, yep. That's all right. So what I'm going to do, seeing how we've already lost that, I'll quickly show you what I've done. I'll just quickly flick through. You can pause. If you want to copy, you're more than welcome to. Again, I'm no expert tuner, but I do like to dabble. I've got a rough idea of what to do for certain cars. Rear-wheel drive cars I usually have pretty good luck with. But yeah, that's what I'll put on. I'll just soften certain things up here and there just to make it a little bit more controllable. Gearbox, I'm going to shrink that down a little bit more because we don't need too much acceleration. Sorry, we don't need too much top-end speed around here. It's more acceleration. All right, that's probably going to affect our next lap because we're going to be taking it a little bit slower because the bloody game puts you to a full stop when you adjust anything with your gear. Or any bloody tuning. It's quite frustrating. All right, we're into 8th gear now, which is something we didn't do last time around. That's not really the problem. It's more so we might be able to get a little bit more acceleration through these corners. It's not every day that you get overtaken by a Mazda MX-5 comfortably in one of these cars. That is the joys of Forza, though. If we weren't allowed to tune and build our cars, we definitely wouldn't be playing this game as much as we do. Well, maybe I'm speaking for myself. All right, we're going to next lap around. Hopefully we can focus a little bit better. Yeah, just slightly adjusting that final drive down a little bit. I can definitely feel the it accelerates a little bit quicker. I mean, it could be my imagination, but I definitely feel the car pulling a bit quicker. Yeah, we're getting up to around 210 up there. We could probably shrink it down a little bit more, but that's all right. I prefer this sort of track. You really want your car handling best. This is where you're going to make most of your time up, is if you can get this car stable through the corners and get your lines right. That's where you're going to make up your time. A little bit wide on the exit. It is still a rear-wheel drive muscle car. It's still a bit playful. In-game 550 horsepower is not much considering the monster cars we're used to now, which there's one right there. But something you've got to remember sometimes, 550 horsepower is still quite a lot. Oh, I missed the checkpoint. That's all right. I don't think I missed it as bad as a little red car over there. Which is that an Integra? Yeah, I think so. All right, look, one final go and then I'll drive off screen, so I'm usually a little bit quicker when I'm not talking. But overall, I'm enjoying the way it drives. It's quite fun. Yeah, pretty much every single car I do, play in game, drive around, this is pretty much all I do. Is just little adjustments here and there, just make it a little bit more fun to drive. But I'm not looking for outright perfection. Just like that cornering line. Oh, we're in the green somehow. That's impressive. All right, let's finish this up. I think someone's actually driving a relatively standard little K car. Normally those things are tuned off their tits. We lost a bit of time on the last corner. All right, so let me do a couple of laps without talking, and I'll see you back at the start line. All right, across the line, just hit a 49.7, which is pretty good. I think there's about another 4 tenths, maybe half a second. I can shave out a little bit here and there if I get it a little bit cleaner, but overall, I'm pretty happy with that. I got no idea if I've driven a car of this class around here. I can't remember, my memory's shite. Let's have a look-see. It's taking too long. Let's just do it manually. Let's have a look. What have I driven around here? No, it's still my Ferrari 45.9. I'm not beating that in this car. That shows you how many people drive around here. That's a lot of people. 400,000 people. So I'm a long way off the... Yeah. Oh, that's X-Class. Okay, that's fine. I was going to say, Jesus Christ, I'm really, really slow around here. I've never driven an X-Class car in here, so I've got no idea what I'll be able to do. But I don't typically like driving really, really high-class cars. They're just... Yeah, my comfort zone is usually B-Class, A-Class. That's where I like to drive. I don't mind driving an S1, S2 every now and then, but yeah, this is my sweet spot. A bit more forgiving when your skill level's not as high as everyone else's. We get stuck in the snow. That, I'm quite happy with overall how it drives. It looks pretty much bog standard, but it's yeah, she's a nice little improvement as the Mazda Fiora goes flying past. Very, very distinctive sounding engine that thing has. So I'm Rob, back tomorrow. I think we're getting a... What's that car we're getting the car pass? It is... Let's have a look. It's a little Honda that I've wanted for absolutely ages to come into the game. Where's the car pass? There it is. I think it's tomorrow we're getting it. No, the dates are a bit whacked because we're in Australia. But yeah, I've wanted this generation of Honda Civic to come into this series of games for so long. This is back on Gran Turismo 4 days, maybe Gran Turismo 5 actually. It's probably one of my favourite little front-wheel drive cars to drive, so I can't wait for that to come out. I'll do a full driven and tested review video of it tomorrow if it comes out. Otherwise, it'll be on Friday down here in Australia. So there's this came out last week. I drove it a couple of days, but it was a little bit fun. But again, it's just way too quick and too much grip. It kind of gets boring. Got a couple of cool cars coming up. That is a pretty cool thing too. But yeah, good to see the GR Corollas coming in. I got no idea what that thing is, but that's just going to be, looks like a drift car or something. No, I got no idea. Obviously, I just, well, the other day, I'm getting distracted. Audi just released the new, the sequel to this one, the new R8. And my God, modern cars have just lost the plot. That is one hideous looking car. Anyway, that's for another video. Back tomorrow, hopefully with that one, I'll do a full review, tested review of it. Until then, I'm Rob. That is the C63 AMG. It's an awesome little car. Germany's attempted a muscle car and they've done a damn fine job of it. It does look pretty good. So until the next one, see you later.